Let me ask you a question that might hurt. If hard work is the key to success, why are you still stuck? You are doing everything right. You are grinding. You are sacrificing sleep. You are constantly busy. But be honest with yourself. Is your life actually moving forward? Or are you just digging a deeper hole? Here is the uncomfortable truth. The people winning the game, the outliers, the icons, they aren't working harder than you. In fact, they might be working less. But 1 hour of their time is worth a month of yours. They aren't trading time for money. They are bending time to their will. Stop being proud of how tired you are. It's not a badge of honor. It's a sign of inefficiency. Today, we stop running, and we start leveraging. Why does time shrink when you are stressed? Have you ever noticed that a day spent in a cubicle feels like it vanishes in a blink, but a day spent hiking a mountain feels like it lasts a week? We assume time is a constant. It is not. Time is a perception created by the brain, and it is easily hacked. Research from the University of Bologna uncovered a phenomenon called the spatial temporal connection. The study revealed a strange quirk in human biology. The part of your brain that judges spatial distance is the same part that judges time duration. Here is the mechanism. When you are in a small, confined space, like a cluttered room hunched over a laptop, your brain registers small space. Because the neural pathways are linked, it automatically compresses your perception of time. You feel rushed. You feel boxed in. The cortisol spikes, the amygdala activates, and your brain screams that you are running out of moments. Conversely, when you look at a vast horizon, your brain registers infinite space. It relaxes the time counter. The rush evaporates. Think about your workspace right now. Is your desk pushed against a wall? Is your monitor blocking your view? You are literally constructing a cage for your mind. You are signaling to your biology that resources are scarce and time is fleeing. So here is the action. We need to hack the visual cortex. If you feel the walls closing in, do not push through. Stop. Stand up. Go to a window or step outside. Look at the farthest point you can see, a cloud, a rooftop, a tree. Hold that gaze for 60 seconds. By physically expanding your visual field, you force your brain to expand its temporal perception. The panic subsides. The clock slows down. Your environment dictates your urgency. Expand your space to expand your time. Why does grinding feel productive, but change nothing? We are addicted to the best-case scenario. In psychology, this is known as the planning fallacy. A famous study asked university students to predict when they would finish their thesis. Even their worst-case predictions were wrong by an average of 3 weeks. We are biologically hardwired to underestimate friction. You look at your calendar for tomorrow. You schedule a meeting at 9 o'clock, deep work at 10 o'clock, emails at 12 o'clock, and a project launch at 2 o'clock. You have filled the cup to the brim. You feel productive just looking at the blocks. But then reality hits. A client sends an angry email at 9:15. Your internet cuts out at 10:30. You get a headache at 1 o'clock. Because your capacity was at 100%, you have no shock absorbers. That one email causes a domino effect that topples your entire week. You spend the next 3 days playing catch-up, fueled by guilt and caffeine, all because you refused to acknowledge the chaos of reality. This is chronic time scarcity, and it is a choice. The solution is the 80% rule. Never schedule more than 80% of your day. If you work an 8-hour day, only plan for 6 hours of tasks. Leave the other 2 hours completely blank. This is not laziness. This is strategic engineering. When the crisis happens, and it will, you have the buffer to absorb it without panic. And if the crisis doesn't happen, you use that 20% for strategic recovery or high-level creative thinking. A full calendar is a fragile calendar. Leave 20% empty to absorb the chaos of reality. Why does trying harder often make you perform worse? We have discussed the container of time. Now we must discuss the engine, your brain. There is a paradox in high performance. The harder you consciously try to be creative or charismatic, the worse you become. Alan Watts, the philosopher who bridged Eastern thought and Western audiences, called this the backwards law. He used the metaphor of water. To hold your breath is to lose your breath. A society based on the quest for security is nothing but a breath retention contest, in which everyone is as taut as a drum and as purple as a beat. Modern neuroscience has finally caught up to this philosophy. We now understand the biology of flow. When you are in a state of deep focus, when you are writing code, painting, or skiing, your brain undergoes transient hypofrontality. The prefrontal cortex is your inner CEO. It is the voice that says, "Is this good enough? What will people think? You are failing." To enter flow, that part of the brain must shut down. When you are grinding or stressing, your prefrontal cortex is hyperactive. It is screaming. This releases norepinephrine and cortisol. You are anxious. You are rigid. When you let go, the prefrontal cortex goes quiet. The brain switches to implicit processing. This is why you get your best ideas in the shower or on a walk, when you stopped trying to force the answer. Think about your daily reality. You stare at a blank Google Doc. You write a sentence, then delete it. You write another, then delete it. You are trying to be perfect. You are not in flow, you are in edit mode. You are driving with the handbrake on. Here is the action. Institute the bad draft protocol. When you start a task, tell yourself, "I am going to do this poorly." Give yourself permission to write a terrible script, design an ugly logo, or record a stumbling voiceover. By lowering the stakes, you sedate the prefrontal cortex. The inner critic goes to sleep. Once the critic is asleep, your subconscious competence takes over, and you will find yourself producing high-quality work effortlessly. Anxiety is just your prefrontal cortex overfunctioning. Lower the standards to unlock the flow. How do you scale your output without scaling your hours? We have fixed your environment and your mindset. Now we must fix your strategy. If you take nothing else from this video, remember this word: leverage. Hard work is linear. If you work 1 hour, you get 1 unit of output. Leverage is exponential. You work 1 hour and you get 10, 100, or 1,000 units of output. In 2026, the ultimate leverage is the algorithm. Most creators obsess over subscribers. This is vanity. The algorithm cares about one thing: session time. It sells ads against time. If you create a chain of videos that keeps a human on the platform for 30 minutes, the machine will push you to millions while you sleep. But leverage isn't just for YouTubers. Let's make this concrete for 3 different lives. First, the creator. Don't make a video, make a series. Stop making disconnected content. If video A solves a problem, video B should solve the problem that video A created. This chains the viewer. 1 unit of effort triggers a cascade of views. Second, the entrepreneur. Stop answering the same email 50 times. Record a Loom video answering that question perfectly once. Build an automated sequence. You do the work 1 time, and the asset works for you 5,000 times. Third, the employee. Stop building custom reports every week. Build a template. Automate the data entry. If you spend 5 hours building a tool that saves you 30 minutes every day, after 2 weeks, you are in pure profit. Most people wake up and ask, "What do I have to do today?" The person with leverage asks, "What can I build today that will do the work for me tomorrow?" Look at your to-do list. Circle the task you repeat most often. Do not just do it. Spend the next hour building a system that does it 80% faster next time. Step off the hamster wheel and build a machine. Don't rent your time to the algorithm. Own the session time by building chains of value. Why do you keep reverting to old habits? You can have the best leverage and the best flow state, but if your self-image is broken, you will self-sabotage. The infamous Stanford prison experiment, while ethically controversial today, illustrated a disturbing truth about human nature. Humans conform to the roles they are assigned. When given the uniform of a guard, participants became authoritarian. When given the smock of a prisoner, they became submissive. We call this enclothed cognition. You are doing this to yourself right now. You tell yourself, I'm a procrastinator, or I'm not a morning person. Your brain hears these commands and dutifully acts them out. You are wearing the invisible uniform of a failure. The brain seeks consistency. It hates cognitive dissonance, the stress of your actions not matching your beliefs. If you believe you are lazy, but you start working hard, your brain feels uncomfortable. It will actually urge you to stop working to align with your lazy identity. Think about it. You sit down to work in your pajamas. You haven't showered. You are slouching. You have physically dressed yourself in the role of someone who is having a lazy Sunday. And then you wonder why you can't focus on a high-stakes business proposal. So, put on the uniform. If you are a writer, what would a world-class writer wear? If you are a trader, how does a top 1% trader organize their desk? Dress the part, clean the desk, vocalize the role, say it out loud. I am a professional. I do not miss deadlines. It feels silly for the first 10 seconds, but the moment you align your physical state with your desired mental state, the friction disappears. You cannot outperform your self-image. Change the uniform to change the performance. Why does willpower always run out? We rely too much on wanting it. We watch motivational videos to get pumped up. But motivation is a biological emotion. Like all emotions, anger, sadness, joy, it is temporary. It has a half-life. Relying on motivation to work is like relying on the wind to power your car. It's unreliable. We need to rely on friction design. This comes from nudge theory. Google used this in their cafeterias. They wanted employees to eat healthier. They didn't give lectures on nutrition. They simply moved the M&Ms into opaque jars and put the water and fruit at eye level. Sugar consumption dropped immediately. Why? Because the brain is a calorie-conserving machine. It always chooses the path of least resistance. Look at your desk. If your phone is next to your keyboard, checking Instagram takes 0.5 seconds of effort. If your heavy-duty work software requires a login and two-factor authentication, starting work takes 60 seconds of effort. The friction is backwards. The bad habit is slick. The good habit is rough. Here is the action. The 20-second rule. Make the bad habit 20 seconds harder to do. Put your phone in the other room. Unplug the TV. Log out of Twitter. Make the good habit 20 seconds easier. Leave your notebook open to the blank page. Have the software loaded and ready the night before. You don't need more discipline. You need a steeper slope. Design your environment so that doing the work is literally the easiest thing you can do. Motivation is fleeting, but friction is constant. Grease the slope to the actions you want. We have covered a lot of ground. We've moved from the visual cortex to the server rooms of YouTube, from the philosophy of Zen to the psychology of uniforms. But all of this information is useless if it remains content that you just consumed. The world wants you to believe that success is a result of suffering. They want you to believe that if you aren't bleeding, you aren't trying. That is a lie designed to keep you tired and obedient. Real high performance is not about force, it is about alignment. Align your space with your time perception. Align your calendar with reality. Align your strategy with leverage. Align your identity with your goals. If you are exhausted every single day, you are not ambitious. You are misaligned. You are driving a Ferrari in first gear, wondering why the engine is screaming but the car isn't moving. Here is your final instruction. Shift gears. Stop looking at the clock. Stop measuring your worth by your sweat. Pick one mechanism we discussed today, just one, and apply it before this video ends. You don't need more time, you need more depth. Stop grinding, start flowing. And watch how the world starts to bend in your favor.